We are joined now by Trey Wingo. I love Trey Wingo. I love talking football with Trey Wingo. Is that an ocean behind you, Trey? Is that what?
It's a pool. It's a little pool at our rental house here in Los Angeles for the month.
Okay.
So yeah, just a little pool.
So Trey was supposed to join us yesterday, but he sent me
Correct.
a text, and I am always alarmed because Trey is never late. He is always on time. When he says we're doing it, we're doing it. And yesterday, he was like an hour late, 90 minutes late. I started to get concerned. Trey texted me later in the day, many hours later, that he had a bout of food poisoning, which I maintain is the worst fucking possible thing you can have, especially if you get it in the middle of the night. So, Trey, are you okay? Take us through that night, if you don't mind.
Well, there was a lot of running from the bedroom to the bathroom. I mean, on a rapid basis. I burned a lot of calories. I can promise you that. Mm-hmm. It was, the classic food poisoning, attic and the basement all at once. There's nothing you can do about it. This one wasn't as bad. My worst ever, though. My worst ever food poisoning was 12 years ago. It was when our son was finishing up his senior year in high school, and we all went over to this island of Lanai for a few days. And right before we got on the ferry that left then Lahaina and in Maui over to Lanai, we got breakfast sandwiches, and I got McDonald's breakfast sandwiches for everybody, and sausage, egg, and cheese, which is my McMuffin, my favorite thing.
Delightful.
And, so good. And then my wife, Janice, at the last minute said, I don't want to eat that sausage. I'm like, okay, you take that. I'll eat your sausage. So I had a double sausage, egg, and cheese.
Wow.
So we're over there. We're having fun. We're doing whatever. And then we start snorkeling. And I'm like, something is not right. And then my
snorkeling after McDonald's is a dangerous game in general,
And then my son came to join us for golf, and he's like, "Are you feeling right?" I'm like, no, I'm not feeling, because I'm not feeling good either. And this is at the Four Seasons Manelli Bay Hotel. It's one of the greatest hotels in the world.
Right.
Halfway through the round of golf, my son and I were like, "This is not happening." We were down for the count. His buddy who was with us on the trip took a picture of the two of us lying down on the golf course, just could not move. He spent the night in his hotel room in the tub. I spent the night in my hotel room in the tub, evacuating in every possible way. And my parents, my wife, and his friend all went and had a lovely dinner. And the two of us were just stewing in our own filth for about 12 hours. Oh, it was the worst. And she never got sick because she didn't eat the sausage.
Right. She passed it on to you. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks. And I had the double hammer.
Yes. But everyone arrives at the point, everyone's been through it, and everyone arrives at the point where they just stop going back to the bed and just sit right in the bed. Did that happen to you? Did you?
Oh, yeah. I didn't leave the tub. I trusted nothing.
Your first trip there was your last trip there, essentially.
Correct. I trusted nothing. They had a lovely dinner. They had a great time laughing at me and my son, just like in abject misery. Yeah. Misery.
Yes, right. Well, of course they were laughing at you. That's what we do. I mean,
why wouldn't you?
Yes. Straight Facts, homie. The new podcast, a new episode is out. Is that correct?
Yeah, we just dropped one with Kevin Kisner, and he was great talking about what to do on the PGA Tour. We got a couple more episodes coming up this week. Things are going well. Right.
Are you friends with Kisner?
Yeah, I met Kis. It's one of those guys that I met, I think, one of the years covering the Open Championship and the U.S. Open for ESPN. We just sort of collaborated and chatted, and then just talked about, kept in touch. And then when he got the NBC job, I'm like, we need to talk about this. Yeah. So it was a good time, and he has it's out there now on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. So check it out. It's doing really well.
All right, Straight Facts, homie, is the podcast. Trey Wingo with us. Philip Rivers. That's my question. Yeah, go ahead.
The answer is, who knew?
Right.
I mean, here's my favorite thing about the whole Philip Rivers situation. He has 10 kids, as you know.
Yes.
And his 10th child is 1 year older than his first grandchild. His daughter is now a mother, and their grandbaby is 1 year younger than their youngest child.
So good. That's the stat of the day. Yes.
That's insane. Yes. And, he last played in January of 2021, of the 2020 season. Right. So we're talking basically 5 years away from playing football. And I know we're in this era where, Tom Brady played till he was 45, and Brett Favre played in his 40s, and Warren Moon's played in his 40s, and Aaron Rodgers is playing in his 40s. It is a completely different deal to play every year and, prepare your body to play football every year than to take 5 years off and at 44 and say, yeah, what the hell? Let's go. I mean, this is a definition. Like this is the roster move of a Hail Mary at the end of the game.
No doubt. Right.
I mean, sometimes it works. So who knows? But have you seen the Colts schedule? Do you know they have to play?
Yeah, it's very difficult. First game's now, I don't think he's going to play this week, but sending Phillip Rivers after not playing football for 6 years to Seattle sounds ridiculous. I mean,
Seattle, Jacksonville, San Francisco, and Houston. Houston's the final game. They have the toughest schedule remaining. Okay, 44-year-old hadn't played. Go out there and save our season.
So, Stu, I got a list of players from Trey, actually. I'm going to give you a list of players. You have to tell me what they all have in common, okay?
Okay.
I like this. Yeah.
Jerry Rice, Emmitt Smith, Doug Flutie, Tim Brown, Deion Sanders, Vinny Testaverde, Gary Anderson, Morton Anderson. Do you know what all those players have in common?
Played after the age of 40.
Trey, do you want to tell?
They were all active when Phillip Rivers was a rookie in 2004.
What? Wait, give me that list again, please.
Emmitt Smith.
Right.
Jerry Rice, Tim Brown, Vinny Testaverde, Deion Sanders, and we threw in a couple of kickers just to throw people off the hunt. The Andersons, Gary and Morton, spelled differently, obviously.
They were all active players winners until you threw the kickers in.
Exactly. They were all active players when Phillip Rivers was a rookie in 2004.
That's amazing. I asked Booger McFarland, our friend, yesterday if he ever sat Phillip Rivers, and he said no, but I got close a bunch of times.
Well, dadgummit, that's what Phil Rivers would say if Booger sacked him. Golly, I mean the clips of Phillip Rivers trash talking without swearing is one of the most unique treasures in all of sports.
It's amazing. I would say, Trey, it's a long way to go to avoid your kids and your family during the holidays.
Well, when you have 10, you got to go a long way. I mean, you got to go all the way in on this thing.
But is it desperation? You're right, because desperation sometimes works, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
the Colts lost.
They lost 3 straight. They were 8-2.
Yes.
And they're now 8-5. I mean,
Right.
Daniel Jones went from playing with a fractured, broken left leg, saying, "Well, now I got a torn right Achilles. Can't do anything now." I mean, they're a mess. They might not. I mean this seriously. They might not win another game.
They might not, but they gave me a reason to watch, Trey, and they gave you a reason to watch. Yes,
correct. If they don't make it, they'll only be the 3rd team since 2000 to start 8-2 and miss the playoffs. The other one was the Miami Dolphins one year, and then obviously the other one was the Raiders, because the Raiders are in every one of these categories right now.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, 8-2, and they have a real legitimate chance of actually not making the postseason.
Crazy.
The clearest way to know that this was a bad idea, Trey, Stugotz suggested it Monday morning.
I did.
Did he really?
I did.
Love that for you.
I did.
That's a great one. Listen, I still think the golden at bat needs to happen.
Thank you.
I mean, that's the greatest. That's the greatest Stugotz idea of all time. The golden at bat. So
does Rob Manfred. He just doesn't want to do it because then he has to give me credit. He'll be because I'm not going to shut up about it. Okay.
No. Yeah. But I wish Rob Manfred would just shut up. I mean, if we're being honest about it.
Trey, are the Eagles in trouble here?
I mean, I don't think they are, because the Cowboys, I mean, look, they're 8-5, and for the Cowboys to catch them, the Cowboys would have to win out, and the Eagles would have to somehow get to 10-7. Have you seen their schedule? I think they play the Raiders, the Commanders twice, and the Bills.
Yeah,
you could lose to Buffalo.
Give them 3-1.
I can't see them losing to the. I mean, unless crazy division rival last minute game, maybe, I don't know, but they might flame out in the first round of the playoffs. I mean, this is very reminiscent of 2023, when I think they were 10-1 or 11-1 and just fell apart down the stretch, and the Cowboys snuck in there and won the division title. Look, I wouldn't put it past it, because the NFC East has not had a repeat champion since 2003. The Eagles won that division 4 straight years in a row, and no one has repeated in the NFC East since 2003. That's the longest streak in NFL history without a repeat champion in a division. So clearly, if it's going to happen, this would be the division where it would happen. But the Cowboys, and the Cowboys schedule is tough.
Yeah,
you look at who they have to play. I think it starts with the Chargers this week. Mm-hmm. Their schedule is really tough, and the Eagles is not. But the Eagles are broken. I mean, even they finally got Saquon Barkley to run like Saquon Barkley, and it still wasn't enough because Jalen Hurts turned it over 5 times, twice on one play.
Crazy. Yes. By the way, just quickly, Taylor, it's Minnesota, the Chargers, Washington, and the Giants. So it's not terrible, Their schedule is fairly easy there. So go ahead, Taylor.
But they have to win out. They got to win out.
They have to win out. Correct.
Yeah.
Trey, it feels like we've almost normalized when NFL players play through injuries. But from that Eagles-Chargers game, it feels like we just kind of glossed over that Justin Herbert was playing with a broken non-throwing hand.
Yeah, listen, I'm glad you brought that up. We recorded an episode of that on Straight Facts Homie yesterday, and it's out on YouTube and everywhere. Check it out. Statistically, that was one of his worst games of the year. I thought it might have been his best game. Like, he's out there. First of all, that freaking thing on his left hand, I couldn't decide if it was a Power Ranger glove or whether it was something that a Deb wears to a ball, the long white gloves. You know what I mean? Yes. I was going back and forth between those two analogies in my mind. But, I mean, like, he was their leading rusher in the game. There's not a chance in hell that Jim Harbaugh would say, hey, listen, I know you got a broken left hand, but if you run a lot, no one's going to think we're going to do that. I mean, those were runs of desperation. He got sacked 7 times in that game, which is a career high. He was hit a ton more than that, and just threw his body to the wind and had no regard for it whatsoever on that last drive to get them in a position to force that game into overtime. Right. So I had, if you had any doubts, because there were always been these lingering doubts. I remember when he was drafted back in 2020, I really heard NFL people say, look, how much does this guy really love football? I mean, like, he's going to be a doctor when it's all said and done. It's in his family. He took all his pre-med classes at Oregon, did very well. That's what he's going to do. Does he really love football? You're going to tell me after watching that game that guy doesn't love football? Like, he abused himself and hung on there. And then I saw, I can't remember if Sports Illustrated or somebody said, no, it's a great Twitter account called Optimum Stats that I follow. He's the first quarterback ever to complete this many passes or less than, throw for fewer this yards, throw an interception, and win the game. I'm like, well, that's why wins and losses are not a quarterback stat, because the defense carried the day there with the 5 turnovers and the juggling interception near the goal line at the end of the game. The point being, though, he was a baller. He was a gamer. Yes. And, if you had any doubts about Justin Herbert, put him to rest after that game. I mean, did you hear what Jim Harbaugh said after the game?
Yeah, he loved him. Yes.
Well, not only that, shocker. He said, I'll put this win right up there with my 7 kids and my marriage. I'm like, bro, it's a regular season game. You need to chill out, okay? I'll give you a conference championship game and a Super Bowl, but a December regular season game that still may not win you the division, and you're putting your marriage and your 7 kids on the same level, you need to stop drinking milk with steak. Because it has clearly fermented your brain.
Yeah, I got to tell you, though, I believe him. I do.
Well, national title.
Yeah, I mean, but again,
won a national championship.
And this game is up there with those things. Stop that now. Stop it.
Phillip Rivers is playing the game to avoid those things.
Exactly. All 10 of them.
Yes. So what you're saying, because you're right, on my grip meter, he graded out very well. Phillip Rivers. So you're saying, forget about the stats. That was a game that showed his teammates, that locker room, and the fan base, hey, this guy has a will to win. This means something to Justin Herbert.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can doubt and they're not going to go very far in the postseason if they get there, because their offensive line is atrocious. That was a game, and again, I put this out there. No one cares about an offensive line until you realize you don't have one.
Correct.
And the Chargers don't. It's decimated by injuries. I mean, they literally have 2 franchise tackles in Rashawn Slater and Alt, and both of them are out for the season, and everybody else has been hurt. I think they were down to their 9th or 10th combination of offensive linemen in that game this season. Yeah, it was absolutely nuts. The fact that he survived is great. So they're not going to go anywhere, I don't think, in the playoffs, but you got to give it up for the way he just left it all on the line.
No doubt. We're getting to the really fun part of this. It's all fun, but the fun part of the season, the games just mean more towards the end of the season. The winner of Pats Bills, do you agree the winner of that game wins the AFC East?
Yeah, although, Buffalo's got some making up to do. I mean,
they're 2 games back.
They're 2 games back with the tiebreaker right now in their favor. So even if they win that game, they're still a game back, and then they're even on the tiebreaker. So they got to figure out a way to get past it. I always say you can only play your schedule. So I'm not going to fault the Patriots for being where they are. But if you look at they've beaten the 2 best teams on their schedule. I'll give them that. They went down to Tampa and beat the Bucs when the Bucs were actually pretty good. And they obviously walked into Buffalo and beat Buffalo. Nobody walks into Buffalo and beat Buffalo. They have one of the best home field advantages in all of football. But if you look at the rest of the schedule, it's Cupcake City. It really is. And I just almost made a new word, Cape Cuck. So I tried to avoid that at all possibilities. Food poisoning.
I chalk it up to food poisoning. That's all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Those words were evacuating from my mouth. So listen, they are who they are, and I give Vrabel all the credit in the world. But I have reservations still about the Patriots, and I obviously I know what Buffalo can do, but there's so much pressure, Stu, on the Bills, especially if this is a year where the Chiefs don't make the playoffs, and Josh Allen has never beaten the Chiefs in the playoffs. There's so much pressure to me on the Ravens and the Bills in this maybe null set appearance by the Chiefs this season. If you're not going to win it this year, when are you going to win it? I think there's a lot of pressure on those two teams.
I would say even if, let's play this out just for a second. If Buffalo makes it and the Ravens and Chiefs don't make it, even more pressure on Josh Allen. Now you've eliminated Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, and you just have to get through the AFC. And he's not going to be worried about walking into Foxborough to play a second-year quarterback in a big playoff game. In fact, I agree. Take the Bills in that spot.
I agree. And then they'll have to go to Denver, and Denver's really good. I mean,
they are.
Denver controls the line of scrimmage better than any team in football.
Yes.
And I mean that. People say, well, what about the Texans? The Texans do a great job on defense, but their offensive line is trash. I mean, they had 6 straight 3-and-outs in the second half against the Chiefs in that game.
Yeah.
Denver, I think, has the most sacks and has given up the fewest sacks. I mean, that's the definition of dominating the line of scrimmage. And obviously they have playmakers, and they have Mims in the return game. They have receivers, and Bo Nix has been great. So I think Denver would be problematic for Buffalo and Josh. But honestly, looking around the rest of the AFC, if the Chiefs don't make it, I'm not sure there's another team that they would be like, oh, we don't know how we can beat this team.
It sounds crazy to say they're 9-4, but are the Jaguars good?
I have no idea. Every week I'll give you the same answer. I think I like Liam Cohen and what he's done.
Right.
And I think Trevor has settled down after that disastrous second half. And I think the Colts win, even though Daniel Jones was not, I think that was big for their confidence, right? I think that, they've lost some games that they shouldn't have lost, but they've also, they've taken down the Chargers. They've taken down the Colts now. I think that was a huge game for their confidence level, sort of get them believing in what they can do. But, Trevor Lawrence, which one's going to show up? I mean,
sure,
you paid him because you had to, and I understand that. But if you go look back statistically, it's okay. It's not. And again, well, we've talked about this before. That's why drafting is so hard. Everyone, if they had the number 1 pick and needed a quarterback that year, would have said, give me Trevor Lawrence. And
100%.
So far he's been average.
Yep.
Slightly above average.
Slightly above.
Trey, if for some reason the Bucs called the Jaguars and offered Todd Bowles for Liam Cohen, do you think the Bucs would make that move?
I don't, because I think I know, because I think if the Bucs are going to move on from Todd Bowles, I think I know who they want.
Really?
And that would be their former head coach, John Gruden.
Oh, wow.
Now, I don't know if that goes through
I got
muster with the NFL and everything that's going on as that lawsuit continues.
Right.
But I can tell you there are people in that organization that are still clamoring to see if they can get John Gruden back. So to me, if the Bucs are moving on from Todd Bowles, I don't think they should, because there's been a lot of things that have gone on there, and I think he's done a really nice job. I know that the Bucs still have a very soft spot in their heart for John Gruden.
Trey, I wanted to shift away from the NFL, and we'll finish up with Trey or Nay. Taylor has some questions for you here. But I wanted to talk about, because I'm fascinated by this, so deserving, the Stuart Scott 30 for 30. And I know you've spent some time with Stu. I'm not certain if you hosted SportsCenter. Maybe you did a couple of times. Yeah. But I knew Stu pretty well. And I'm just wondering if you could share with the audience just your relationship with Stuart and what kind of person Stuart Scott was, because I was telling Taylor that the SportsCenter anchor back when I was growing up was a major celebrity. Okay.
Yeah.
And Stuart Scott was the SportsCenter anchor. Like, he was a trailblazing pioneer. And so I think the audience would be interested from your perspective as someone who worked with him, was friends with him, just what kind of man he was.
Give you a couple examples of that. And I want to be clear, Stuart and I were not best friends. We weren't super close friends. We were friends.
Yeah.
And, we hung out together and when we worked together, and I'll give you a couple examples of that. But when I first got to ESPN in 1997, I had been interviewed by the local media columnist in St. Louis, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, about moving on to ESPN. And in the article, just backstory, the guy said, well, are you going to have to get Dan Patrick's coffee as the new guy there? And I said, well, I hope not to be his towel boy too long,
Right.
whatever. And then I said, what do you want to do? Well, I'm starting at ESPN News. I hope to move on to SportsCenter. So the headline in the story was, Wingo hopes to go to SportsCenter quickly and not be the towel boy. I mean, the guy totally just freaking hosed me on that quote taken out of context.
Yes.
So when I got
it hasn't changed, by the way, 20 years later, 30 years
correct,
later.
Correct. Nothing is better. So when I got to ESPN, all the ESPN news guys were really pissed off at me. Like Bill Pito was a friend of mine. I worked with him in Binghamton, New York. He warned me, said, hey, just be careful. You're coming in here with a bullseye on your back. I'm like, what the hell did I do? Right. I didn't do anything. And there was a whole thing of like Dave Feldman, Ian Page, Dave Revson, Chuck Garfien, all these old school ESPN news anchors had written on a towel boy rules, in by this, out by that, all signed their names with snide comments. Jason Jackson was on there. The only one who said anything nice was Stuart Scott said, welcome. Everyone else was, like in a frickin' had their hair on fire about it. Stuart was like, oh, relax. Welcome. So that was my introduction to Stuart. He was a normal human being, know?
Yes.
And we used to do this thing. I think you remember ESPN The Weekend. We used to go down there and do all the shows from Disney World. Well, one year, Stuart and I got down there a day early before anybody else got there. Right. And he was like, you know what? I got nothing to do. You got nothing to do. Let's go play golf. It's like, all right, you just want to play golf. And, neither of us were very good golfers. Right. But we just started playing around. And then the cart girl came along and we had a few cocktails and came around again. We had a few more cocktails. And by the 18th hole, we were just laughing our asses off at all the stupid stuff that we'd seen and done. And we had perhaps been a little overserved. Thankfully, the Disney shuttle was there to take us back to the hotel. Right. And we got back that next week and we were like, man, that was fun. And it's summer's coming up. Let's do that again. It's like, absolutely. We need to play golf. And then like 2 weeks or a month later is when he first got sick. And then we obviously never had that opportunity again. And I'll always say this, if you have the time to do something with somebody you think is a good person, fucking do it. Yes. Because you never know when that thing's going to be taken away from you again. And that's the first thing I thought of when he died is that, God damn it, we never did that again. And we should have done that. That's just the person he was. He was just a great guy, and people always talk about the Boo-Yah and cooler and the other side of the pillow and all that kind of stuff. What people don't know is that when he got there, the executives at ESPN were not Stuart Scott fans. Right. They were like, this guy is not doing things the way we want them to do them.
He strayed away so far away from the norm. It was amazing.
Correct.
Yes.
So they were like, you need to put more information in your highlights, which I agree with. It's great. So Stu was like, fine, you want that? I'll give you that. And you go back and look at clips, including like the 81-point game that Kobe had against the Pacers, or I think it was the Pacers, was the Raptors? I don't know. And Stewart did the highlight. There was more information in that highlight than any other read ever in the history of sports.
He went out of his way.
Yes. He's like, fine, you think I don't give you enough? I'm going to give you so much information, you won't be able to comprehend it all. And you go back and watch that clip. It's out there, I think, on social today. And it's just, this many games, this way, he was averaging this per game. You did more three. Like, he did all the Boo-Yah and all the other stuff. But he threw all the information at you. And that was Stewart's way of saying, I'll play your stupid game. Right. But you're not stopping my style. And I love that about him.
Yes.
I love that about him. Yes. It wasn't just the catchphrases. He was going to tell you the why things happened and made you understand why things happened. And he was able to do that while still not sacrificing his style. And that, to me, above everything else, was what made Stewart just amazing.
You know, it's funny because I don't think people realize, and I didn't realize it until I got there, just how hard hosting SportsCenter or Baseball Tonight is. I had a conversation with Boo-Yah where he maintains that hosting Baseball Tonight might be the most difficult job in broadcasting. But I'm wondering, did you Stuart made it look easy. I'm wondering if you marveled at that as someone who here. Yeah.
Well, look, I'm gonna say something that people might tell me to shut up, but like when Boog says that, right? Because that Boog hit his heart as a play-by-play guy, right? That's who he is.
Yes.
So hosting something that's outside your comfort zone,
right,
is very difficult.
Yes.
Like for me, doing NFL Live or SportsCenter or Baseball Tonight it didn't feel that difficult for me.
Right.
But calling a baseball game, my God, that's the hardest thing in the world. And Boog does that
you look
better
at
than
Boog
anybody.
the way Boog looks at you. Right, exactly.
Correct. Right, exactly. So it's all perspective. You know, like Boog is a play-by-play guy. So doing the studio hosting is very foreign to him. For me, you know, hosting the draft that came natural to me. But calling games, well, that was impossible. I mean, I did a few, and I don't think I was awful at it, but I certainly wasn't good. Right. You know? Yes. And so I think it's just how you apply your skill sets and what you think your skill sets are. But Stuart made everything look easy. Like Stuart just, you know, he had a way about him. That's the only way to describe it. He had a way that made you feel at ease with him talking to you about sports. And that's an incredible gift.
Yes. It's funny because you tell that story about the executives and them not being a fan at the beginning. Man, I would tune into SportsCenter because Stuart Scott was hosting it, you know, and I can't say that about that many guys, you know.
Same way with Kenny. Like Kenny, you know, he was also very different, and they didn't like that either.
I know.
And, you know, Stuart and Kenny are two of the guys that most people think of when they talk about that kind of stuff. So, no, I always say this to people: just because they're the boss doesn't mean they're right.
Yes, you're right. But you knew you were working with and becoming friendly with a guy who was kind of trailblazing our industry, right? You knew that at the time.
Absolutely. Like there's no question about it. And, you know, Stuart, I think it's great about Stuart. He always, and I've talked about this with Rich before, Rich Eisen. He always had a way to make sure that people knew, hey, this, you know, it's a little, don't forget about me. Like when Jordan retired for the first, second, third time, I can't remember which one it was, and he was hosting SportsCenter, and they asked him, what was your favorite Michael Jordan moment? And Rich has told this story too. He's like, you know, I went back to an alumni basketball game at North Carolina, and I was on the court, and, you know, Jordan passed me the ball and I made the shot. As I'm walking back, he points at me like this. And Stuart was like, to me, that was validation. That Michael Jordan pointed at me. You know what I mean? It's, instead of like, oh, you know, his 63-point game against the Celtics in the playoffs in '86, or the you know, the reverse layup in the '91 NBA championship against the Lakers. No, it was an alumni basketball game where Jordan pointed at Stewart. It's like validation. That's Stu. You know what I mean? That's Stu.
Jordan knows who I am. Yes.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And on so many levels, I respect it.
That is so good. Boo-Yah, it's the 30 for 30. It's out tonight. It takes you through Stuart's career and his life. Such a great life and such a great person. One of a kind, truly. Speaking of one of a kind, Trey or nay, okay? It's a game that is sweeping the nation. Yes, that's my only way to get into that. I am not Stuart Scott. I'm Stuart Knotts, okay?
Yeah.
Taylor, are you ready for Trey or nay and get Trey Wingo out of here? And by the way, when he laughed before, I thought that sausage was going to come back up.
Yeah, a little bit. It might be. Give me time.
It was Wingo or Wingno, but I think we have officially changed
Trey or nay.
To Trey or nay.
Like that, yeah.
Yes.
Keeping your Christmas lights up until February. Trey or nay?
Hard nay. Just come on, move on, people. I verbally assault people that put them up like the day after Halloween. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing?
Yes.
You know, when did Thanksgiving become a speed bump on the super highway to Christmas?
You're so right. Can we just sit and enjoy Thanksgiving for a minute?
Right. Can we just give each holiday its own space and then move on to the next one? No. January 3rd, get them off. Get them out. Go. Gone.
Yes.
Taking the kids to the mall Santa. Trey or nay?
Well, I did it when I had kids, so I would say Trey. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm not. I don't know how I feel about that now. But yeah, I did it when the kids were young. Sure.
Yes. It just dawned on me that Phillip Rivers won't be there January 3rd to take the ornaments down, to take all the
Well, he has some helpers that can do it for him.
He'll either be playing still or in the hospital. Go ahead, Tim.
Planting a flag on the other team's 50-yard line after a big rivalry win.
I got no problem with that. Trey, I got no problem with that. Yeah. I got no problem. People that get upset with that don't understand competition, to be perfectly honest. You disrespected our house. How about you disrespected your house by fucking losing? You know? I mean, give me a break. Like, yes. You're mad at yourself for not taking care of business, so you're taking it out on somebody else? Come on.
Right.
Get out of here.
Well, so this one comes via Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Not getting into a fight before you get married. Trey or nay?
You got to have
You got to have fights. You got to have fights.
Yes,
You don't know how you're going to respond. That's like, right. The car looks nice, but I don't want to drive it before I buy it.
Yes.
No, absolutely. You got to have fights. You have
to gauge response. You have to see how you bounce back from it. All of it. Yes.
Yeah. I remember when we were first dating, went out to dinner with my dad, and we were at some restaurant and we got into something and we were just going back and forth. My dad was like, "You guys just go at each other." I'm like, yeah. And then we move on. I mean, it's over. You know what I mean?
Marriage.
That's the entire thing.
Yeah.
The entire institution. Conflict resolution.
Taylor, put it on the poll. If you're not fighting, you're not married. Yes or no?
Correct. That's a Trey.
The final one we have, if there was an NFL playoff committee deciding a 14-team playoff, would the Chiefs still somehow find a way in?
Absolutely.
They'd have a better chance.
They have a much better chance.
Yeah.
Look, hey, congratulations to the Dukes of James Madison, and great season and great beating Troy. Really?
Yes.
Really? We're honoring the Sun Belt Conference when we can't honor the Big 12 or the whatever the Pac used to be anymore, but the Sun Belt gets in?
Yes.
Get out of here.
Crazy.
Now, if they go beat Oregon, I will tip my cap to them and say, "You mighty Dukes, go for it." But
you keep that cap on your head, okay? Because it's
Come on, man.
Yes.
Come on.
I have a quick tennis one for you because I know you love tennis.
Yeah.
Trey or nay, the apology wave to your opponent after your ball goes off the net and trickles over to the other side, giving you the points.
It's so disrespectful.
I don't need the wave, okay? You got lucky, you got a good bounce. Spare me the fucking apologies, all right?
Sorry. You don't care. You'll take the point.
Yes.
Because you need points to win. You'll take the point. Oh, my bad. No, you're like, yes. I mean, because that's the problem. Inside, you're going, unbelievable. Outside, sorry.
Right.
Sorry. No.
Yes.
Big nay.
All right, last one. Straight Facts, homie. New episode out right now. Get it wherever you get your podcast. Trey Wingo with us. Coming back to play quarterback at the age of 46 to avoid your kids during the holidays. Trey or nay?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Get the paycheck, get what you want. And I'm going to the Joe Flacco line earlier this year.
Yeah.
When he was talking about going out to dinner by himself.
Right.
Like when he was younger, he used to see people at the bar and goes, "That's the saddest person in the world." And now as he gets older, he's like, that man is experiencing joy like no man has ever experienced before. Just sitting at the bar by himself, not bothered by anybody, just sitting there enjoying the moment. And you don't get that until you're older and you've had kids and you've done all this other stuff. And then you realize this is bliss, absolute bliss.
You transitioned well to the empty nest, I see, huh?
We always like to have them over, and then it's like, when can you leave?
Yeah, exactly. You're on the clock.
Exactly.
Straight Facts, homie. Check it out wherever you get your podcast. Trey Wingo, we appreciate you, sir. Thank you for the insight on Stuart, and thank you for just being a lot of fun every time you're on, man.
You got it, guys. Anytime.